I'm working on a building. It's a sure foundation. I'm holding up the blood stain, dying for the Lord. When I get to working on this old building, I'm going up to heaven to get my reward. Come on. I'm working on a building. It's a sure foundation. I'm holding up the blood stain, dying for the Lord. When I get to working on this old building, I'm going up to heaven to get my reward. Come on, children. I am working on a building. It's a sure foundation. I'm holding up the blood stain, dying for the Lord. When I get to working on this old building, I'm going up to heaven to get my reward. Well, Jesus is real, real. Jesus is real to me. Oh, He give me so many people doubt Him, but I can't live without Him. That is why. Hey, He's so real. In the morning He's real. Jesus is real. Hey, Jesus is real. He gives me so many people, and I can't live without Him. That is why. One more time, He's real. Jesus is real. Don't you know He is? He gives me so many. I can't live without Him. Hey, come on, clap those hands if you know He's real. Turn to somebody and say,
Welcome to Queering Science, Theology, Philosophy, and Spirituality. This is the LGBTQ Center for Science, Theology, Philosophy, and Spirituality. And that is a wonderful African American spiritual. I love it so much. I'm working on the building, and Jesus is real. Lovely song. Thank you so much. And it was done by Bishop Carlton Pearson when he did live at Azusa 3. And my God, I love that song. I remembered it today. We used to sing it when we were in school. And I'm walking on a building. It's a new foundation. I'm holding on those bloodstained banner, fighting for my Lord. I'll never get tired and tired. I'm working on a building. I'm going to heaven for my reward. Oh, when I remembered that song, it brought memories when I was in school, when I was a very young boy. And I wanted to know when this song was, whether this song existed. I didn't know it was sung. I used to feel it was very Black American, but I didn't. When I was young that time, I was really not bothered to know. But today I was so happy to know that it was sung by very many people. Elvis Presley, even his version is very good, and Canton Spirituals, and of course Carlton Pearson has also done it, and very many Gaither vocal band. It's a beautiful song, and yes, it's very nice to listen to African American spirituals. They were always thinking about leaving the planet, going to heaven, and also surviving, But the beauty about music and time is that theology changes with time. That's what people need to understand. This is why QSTPS has come now. It is because of the time. It's a different time. Do you know this is Bishop Carlton Pearson singing? And the days he used to sing in Azusa, he was very religious, very Pentecostal, but he changed, and he changed for the better because he kept on searching the truth, and he was finding out that actually things are not as they are. Of course, he still believes in the power of God and power of God's Elohim, but he left the fold of the old time religion, and it's very natural. It's the natural tendency of human beings to leave the old way of doing things because we get bored. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was telling me, you know what, I used to do certain things. You can go sometimes to the club and you enjoy dancing and everything, but now I don't do that anymore. And I told him, yes, it is natural. Human nature is that sometimes when we do certain things over and over again, we get bored with them. Of course, you can never get bored with things like food, appetite. Appetite, desires, sex, food, sleep. You will never get tired of sleeping. I mean, it's natural. You will always want to sleep. And sex is also the same. You will always want to have sex. Though for sex, as you grow older, the appetite reduces, though it doesn't mean you can't have sex, because sex is like eating. It's an appetite. And this is why we fight for LGBTQ rights, because it's an appetite. It's a natural appetite to have sex with the same sex. Yes. So that is what people need to understand about life. And the appetites never change. Or if they change drastically. I mean, not drastically, slightly. Like, most of the vegans, they used to eat meat. Now they've left meat. They are now eating vegetables. So that's a style of, you have not stopped eating, you've just changed your diet. That's what a vegan has done. And that's what I'm trying to say. Even sleeping patterns, you still sleep, but you can change your patterns. You can decide, I'm going to only sleep for 4 hours a day, or 6 hours, or 8 hours, or 10 hours. That's up to you. And then you have to change the habit. But then sometimes people get bored with certain habits. So that's what I was telling this friend. And it's the same to theology and religion. The Catholic Church of today is not the Catholic Church of yesterday. Yes, it's absolutely not like in the 1960s, the Catholic Church never allowed keyboards, piano keyboard for the village churches. It was never heard of. The guitar in the Anglican Church in Africa was a sin. It was a sin to play guitar in the Anglican Church because it was known to be a disco instrument. Then, 20 years later, the guitarists found in church are so good, the keyboardists, they are so good, they are even sometimes better than the club musicians, because most churches like music a lot. So you see, things changed. And in the next 20 years to come, there will be no need of having, already there are churches that don't even hire musicians. They just play tracks. Of course, that one is not a very nice way of doing worship, but it's happening. I don't support it because music is very good when it's live. People are playing live music. So what am I trying to tell you? Theology changes, the way we do things change. Look at the telephone. It's changed. We are no longer using wire telephones. We are using wireless telephones. That's what we are going, and we are getting higher. Next time we are going to have phones that will be on the pen. You are working with a pen, it's a phone. You just speak a microphone on the pen and say, I want to talk to John. And it calls John. And John's voice appears on the pen, not on the phone. No need of digits. No need of writing digits to call somebody or saving his name. Just talk to the phone. Say, I want to talk to John. Or just say John. And John comes online through the pen. And you talk to him without punching digits. So we're going to get even digitless devices that don't need punching, or keyboardless devices. QWERTY will disappear, because now to communicate with somebody, you will not even need to write a name or a number. You will just call the person, and the person is kept in the database of the device, and you're done. So that's where we're going. People have understood sex. So now we don't see God as a killjoy. You know, in the past, people used to see God as a cosmic killjoy. He doesn't want you even to wear a tattoo. It is written, don't wear a tattoo. And that was an old law, ancient law. You know, people who speak about the law, they think those laws were practiced. They were not. They broke the law. Do you know, if they kept the law, there would be no prophet in Israel? Yes. Prophets rose up to speak when the law was not kept. But I'm telling you, they talked, and people kept on doing the same thing. So what does that mean? The law was bad. And that's what even Ezekiel says. The law was bad. And this is what Paul said, the law is weak. You see, finally they came and attacked the law. And it's an irony to attack the law of God. Yes. So what am I trying to tell you in short? Theology changes. And so Bishop Carlton Pearson, I've really loved his change of tone and understanding of religion and faith, because he has well, it's not that what he has discovered is new. It has always been there. God is in all of us. Yes. All of us are going to heaven. Yes. I mean, why is judgment going to happen if some people are going to hell? Ab initio. From the beginning, they are going to hell. So why do you have to judge them when you know they are going to hell? You see, it doesn't make sense. We are all going to heaven, or we are going to a place that is different from earth, that is beyond the celestial spheres. Yes. Anyway, enough of that. Now let's come to our video, God is Science. And I want to talk about this in a very deep way. This is the biggest revelation I've got in the month of January, and I can't stop making noise about it. I got this revelation when I was when we were at the LGBTQ affirming church service, and they were preaching. This is a very famous LGBTQ affirming sermon, the sermon of the man who was born blind. It's all LGBT affirming theologians love it, because it is the understanding. It makes people understand that people are diverse, not because of sin, but because of God. That's what people need to understand. Not because of sin, but because of God. And and God is science. And so we're going to look at that and discuss. Now let's first look at the definition of science. Science is defined as the observation, identification, description, experimental investigation, and theoretical explanation of natural phenomena. So what is science? It is observation, it is identification, description, investigation, and explanation of natural phenomena. How is that definition? Not so strong, but it's okay. Then another one says here, science is a branch of knowledge or study dealing with a body of facts. I like this one. Or truths systematically arranged and showing the operation of general laws. Look at that definition. It is saying it is dealing with a body of facts and truths. Hold it there. Let's get another one. Cambridge says the study of the structure and behavior of the physical world, systematic way of acquiring knowledge. Science is the pursuit and application of knowledge. Science is a field of study concerning and describing the world around us. Another one, very nice one, business dictionary. Body of knowledge. Very beautiful. Body of knowledge. Now let me read from my dictionary that is not online. Okay, is it near? My dictionary is here next to me, and it says science. It defines science. Science is defined as the careful study of the structure and behavior of the physical world, especially by watching, measuring, and doing experiments, and the development of theories to describe the results of these activities. Now we're going to do something. So that one is just saying study, just more or less like the others. We're going to do what is called the thesaurus. Now here there's a particular area of science, systematic knowledge. So the key words are knowledge, facts, and truths. Please keep underline the word truths and knowledge. Now let's come to the thesaurus. The thesaurus will give us the synonyms and the antonyms. I think I like Merriam-Webster, but let us try. Yes, I think Merriam-Webster is fine. It's a main dictionary. A body of facts. I like that. Learned by study or experience. That is what science is. A body of facts. Study or experience. The synonyms of science are knowledge, lore. Now we're going to sleep here. Wisdom. Now, words related to science: dope, information, intelligence, know, lowdown, news, skinny, data, evidence, facts, acquaintance, awareness, familiarity, literacy, erudition, learning, scholarship, expertise, know-how. Now, I want us to underline evidence, facts, learning, data, information, intelligence, wisdom, and knowledge. Very, very important. Now, especially wisdom, knowledge, and truth. Now, when we go to the Bible, Strong's Concordance, my favorite concordance. And we are going to look for the word science. To see if it has the word science in the Bible. Are you seeing? Children in whom no blemish but well favored and skillful in all wisdom and cunning in knowledge and understanding science. You see? Now, then in the New Testament, Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science falsely so called. So Timothy was told to avoid oppositions of science. Now let us go and read what science is in Greek. Gnosis. Gnosis, where you get Gnostic religion. That's why to me, I believe that Paul was a Gnostic Christian. Knowing, knowledge, science. So that is knowledge. The general knowledge of Christian religion, deeper, perfect, moral wisdom. So, that is what it means. Then when we go back to Daniel, so sorry I can't get it like how I did, so I have to do it in this way. So let's come to the lexicon. And in Hebrew, it's madda, which is knowledge, thought, or science. Though this is not necessarily Hebrew, it is Aramaic. Now, I want us to go to wisdom, because we have found out science is also knowledge. It is truth, a body of truths, a body of facts, and a body of wisdom. Now let's come to wisdom. Let's come to wisdom. And I want us to come to wisdom in the New Testament. In the New Testament. Okay, there is not what we wanted. This is what I wanted. But of him, 1 Corinthians 1:30, are ye in Christ Jesus, who of God is made unto us wisdom. Jesus Christ is wisdom. And 1 Corinthians 1:24, Christ is the power of God and the wisdom of God. He is the science of God. He is the knowledge of God. He is the truth of God. He is the power of God, Jesus Christ. But unto them which are called, both Jews and Greeks, Christ, the power of God. So he is the power of God, and he is also the wisdom of God. That's why knowledge is power. Wisdom is power. Philosophy, the love of wisdom, the love of power, the love of Christ. Because philosophy means love. Philo means love, and Sophie means wisdom. And we have found here that Christ is the power of God, which is also the wisdom of God. So Christ is the wisdom of God. He's the Sophia of God. And a philosopher is a lover of Christ. He's a lover of wisdom. He's a lover of knowledge. And he's a lover of science, because science is wisdom. And science is truth. That's why when you go to philosophical schools, they teach you logic. Logic is the system of truth. How to get truth of something. It's beautiful. Hallelujah. And we go on. Wisdom. Okay. Wisdom. So, God, Jesus Christ, is wisdom of God. And that is the science of God, because science is wisdom. And who is Jesus Christ? So Jesus Christ is God. Beautiful. And let's see, Jesus Christ is God, because we have found out Jesus Christ is the power of God, which is the wisdom of God, and he is, and wisdom is the science of God. Let's come to KingJamesBible.org, and we read about Jesus is God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And this is what I tell you, data. The Word is data. So in the beginning was data, and the data was with God, and the data was God. Why? Because data is knowledge. Knowledge is wisdom. Wisdom is science. Science is Jesus. Jesus is the Word. So in the beginning was data, and the Word, and data was with God, and data was God. So God is data. Data is everything. Science is everything. Hallelujah. This is a powerful revelation. And data was made flesh and dwelt among us. Data, data, and my Father are one. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God. This child is the mighty God, the everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. The child is a mighty God, the mighty God, not even a. And then Thomas called Jesus Christ my Lord and my God. The atheist Thomas, when he saw Jesus Christ physically, he said, "This is my Lord and my God." And we have just declared. So those are the few verses that show you Jesus is God. And again, Jesus is Allah, because Allah is God. Powerful revelation. Now, let's go back to the word science. Science is truth, is it not? I hope you're playing the game of connection, because that's what we're doing. You see? You see, this is a very good question. The many meanings of truth. And here, this was a complaining. Even Richard Dawkins does not say science is truth. But I beg to differ from Dawkins. I beg to differ from Dawkins, because this is why I'm differing from them. Science is a body of facts. Science is a body of truths. Now, when there are many truths, they are equals to one truth. Get that? When there is a body of facts, this body of facts is combined into one fact called science. You see, that's why there's a plural for the word science, sciences, because sciences means a collection of facts on different issues, a collection of truths from different issues. Now, why am I insisting on the word truth? It is because Jesus Christ said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. That is what he said. I am the truth. I am the science. I am the fact. I am the knowledge. Because knowledge is facts, knowledge is truth. Now, forget what you see written even in the Bible, where they try and bifurcate wisdom. You know, they call earthly wisdom or false knowledge. There is nothing like that, or what they call pseudosciences. This is what I mean by a pseudoscience. Nothing can be a pseudoscience. It's either scientific or it's not. That's my understanding. There is either truth or no truth. In fact, you cannot bifurcate lies. A lie is nothing. You know, a lie is nothing. If I tell you that today is Saturday, according to the Gregorian calendar, today is Saturday, do you know I'm lying? Yes. So what does that mean? What I've said is non-existent in logic. It is a lie. It's not truth. It's not science. You see? It's not science. That's why in the courtroom, you cannot come and just tell people that I saw this man kill. They will ask you, give us evidence. We want truth. When they cry for evidence, they're saying, show us the truth. And then the police comes with weapons that were found from his house. And then the police is asked, where did you find this knife? And he says, we found it at this house. And whose house is it? It belongs to this man. It is his house. And then that's when they can say, the truth has been established. You committed the crime. And this is why God is science. God is the truth. Because being the truth, he saw what happened. So the truth is brought into the courtroom and is reassembled to picture what happened on that day, even though we were not there. But because we have pieces of evidence, pieces of truth, we can join that truth and prove that it happened. So this is why it's a very important subject. Now, I'm not agreeing with these very famous guys like Big Think, why science alone can't discover all truth. No, that's a lie. That is a lie. Sorry to say, I love Big Think. Science alone discovers all truth because science is wisdom. What did Solomon ask God to give him? He asked him for wisdom, which is Christ. Jesus Christ is the power of God, the wisdom of God. Do you know what Solomon actually got? Solomon got power, because knowledge is power. Do you know why human beings are powerful? They, according to the Bible and the Quran, but mostly the Bible, it is because they ate from the tree of science, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And what did God say? They should not eat from the tree of life, because if they eat from it, they will be like us. Which meant they finished step one of being a god, and that was to have knowledge of good and evil. That's why human beings are this powerful. You know, we are animals, but we are the most powerful animals. Reason being, we have built a world, we've built buildings, we've built machines without spiritual knowledge. It's because we are already spiritual, we have knowledge. So, as I told you, education is spiritual, knowledge is spiritual. That tree was a spiritual tree. It's just that God didn't want them to eat from it. Yes, that's all. He didn't want them to eat from it. But it still had its spiritual power. You know, people think when someone makes a law, don't eat from this tree, it's because the tree is bad. No, please understand, the tree was not bad. It was a test. He wanted to see, will these people really eat from that tree? And they did. That's what happened. Because they would have decided not to eat from it. Yes, they would have been dodo heads and said, we are not eating, we are following God. They would even run to God. Oh my God, the serpent has just come and told us to eat from... You see? But they did not. So, what am I trying to say? Knowledge is not a bad thing. It's just that when somebody makes a law not to do something, if you break it, you will be punished. Even if breaking it means even if breaking it means you have not done a bad thing. Yes. The problem is not what you've done. The problem is there is a law that tells you doing that thing is bad. That is the problem. That's why we work for the decriminalization of homosexuality and sodomy, because it is not bad to engage in homosexual sex, oral sex, anal sex. It's not bad. But because there is a law that is in place, it means you are bad. When you're not bad, the act is not bad. Like having knowledge is not bad. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Just because a law is made does not mean that that thing they are making a law for is bad. Yes, it's a truth. Because why did even God put the tree? If it was a bad tree, he shouldn't have put it there. That's what I always argue with people. He shouldn't have put that tree there if it was bad. But it was a good tree. It was just that he put it there to test them. And they failed. And guess what? After they ate from the tree of knowledge, the tree of science, they were told not to eat from the tree of life. Because if they ate from the tree of life, they were God. God would not even fight with them. Because they are now equal. And that's what's going to happen at the end of the world. According to Christian theology, we will be God. But guess what? Paul has already said, we are one with God. That's what Jesus said. That I pray that they be one with God, with you, as I am one with you. Meaning, he wants us to be God. But Psalms 82 is very clear. We are God. Now, as we have read and done the connections, now, the way I'm being attacked by these websites. Look at this. Science is the only road to truth. Don't be absurd. No, I am going to be absurd. Science is the only way to truth. What is science? It is the collection of facts, of truth. Yes. Do you know even praying is science? Yes. It is metaphysical science. Let's go back to the definition of science. I'm enjoying this already. Look at all of these articles are just bashing me left, right, and center. Yes, at least this Irish Times has done it well. Learning the truth through science. Look at these ones, wired.com. Science isn't about the truth. My God, it is about the truth. You know, truth is evidence. If you don't know the truth about gravity, you will not make anything that can work in where there's gravity. So you have to know what is the knowledge of gravity, so that you can the reason why we have made aeroplanes is because the law of gravity was studied. I'm flabbergasted that science isn't about the truth. It's about building. No, it is about the truth, because without the truth you can't build models. Okay, even if you build models, do you know a model cannot work without proper science, which is the truth? Look at houses. Do you know why houses are standing? Very strong houses are standing. It is because they know the truth about building. That when you build a house, this is the amount of cement you're supposed to use. These are how the pillars should look. You put cornerstones. You put this. They know the truth about building. Somebody who doesn't know the truth about building will not build a house. He cannot. He doesn't know it. It's like giving me someone who doesn't know how to drive a car. You give it to him. Go and drive the car. He can't. Even if he prays in which tongue. He can't. It's because of its science. It's science. Do you know even doing miracles is scientific? Yes. The problem is it is high science. That's why it is called paranormal sciences. Yes. Miracle workers do paranormal sciences. Because you can be a miracle worker, a healer, but you know the science of the body. You see, this is why doctors are healers. Yes, because their method of healing is they get to know the body and they know what has happened to the person. But a miracle healer, he does not necessarily have to know the body. He's just a healer. So even that's why most healers who are there, there are very few, but they exist. Most of them, they can't explain to you what they did. They can't. And this is what I was saying in my other discussion about science and knowledge and education. The problem we have in this world is the language of very many things is inadequate. Don't think that everything we know about the world is adequately explained. Like, see all of these articles? The reason why they're like this, it's because there are certain things they can't explain. But it's not the fault of science. It's the fault of language, which is also a science. It's a special branch of science. You see, if there's no language to explain a phenomenon that exists, we will never understand that phenomenon. So we have to get to know the phenomenon the language we have is the one that helps us to understand the phenomenon. You see, language is a law. A blog and a vlog, you know, blogging and vlogging, they never used to be in the dictionary. Why did they come to the dictionary? Because it was a new thing that has never been known. So they called it blog. And in fact, the word blog and vlog come from the word logarithm, which is how whenever you're on the internet, you're keying items, you are doing logs, logarithms, they're events. Every time you write something, you press search. The moment you press a search button, that is a logarithm, that's a log event. Then when you keep on and then you click on a headline, that's another log event. So you're always doing logarithms. Then when you write, you type, those are events. Every time you're typing, events are happening. Events are happening. Then you post, another logarithm has happened. Then you go. That is now why it was called a blog. They put B. Then when it came to video, they put V, vlog. And then that is how it was born. The word was born. So most words, language comes after things exist. That's what you need to understand. That's why I'm doing spiritual research on the spirit. I have a feeling that we do not really understand the human body. Yes, I have a feeling we really do not understand what I mean by human body, the human psyche, psychology. Because some people have power. They are able to, the paranormal sciences, especially when you read paranormal sciences and parapsychology, you realize that people can be able to do great things. Witchcraft is a paranormal science. They just didn't know what to call it. Yes. Do you know power has no... What is power? People cannot even define it. Miracles. Supernatural power. Yes. People don't know. Yes, this is what I'm trying to tell. All of these are parapsychological and paranormal events. Paranormal sciences. There's not even language to explain it. Like clairvoyance. Jesus was a clairvoyant. And he saw Nathaniel. He told Nathaniel, I saw you standing by the tree. And the guy almost collapsed, according to the story. Yes. Until today, I meet prophets who can predict. They can tell you your name, your birthday. How is that happening? Can you explain that? It's of course telepathic communication, but where is it coming from? You see, these are the things we need to understand. It's a science, and it's through science you can understand these things. Yes. Look at Steve Jobs. Brilliant man that cracked the code of science. So what am I trying to say? Science is God. And God is so hard to explain. I'm so happy Jews never even used to pronounce his name, because they didn't know what this thing is called. What is he? Just call him Yahweh. They didn't even pronounce, they could not even say Yahweh. They just say YHWH, the tetragrammaton. That's all they would say. They would write it. Real Jews or the ancient Jews never mentioned the name God. And even till today, when they write the name, they don't pronounce it. To give him honor, because they don't know what it is. And I like that, because truly, what is power? Because we've just seen Christ is the power of God. Then what is power? He's Christ. And then power is wisdom, which is knowledge. That's why we say knowledge is power. And knowledge is science. So God is science. Now let's come back to, let's finish the video. Are you a truth wizard? These are very nice one. Does science equals truth? Nietzsche and plus Mega Man. That's a nice video too. This is a nice one. Science is a search for truth and knowledge, meaning science is truth and knowledge, because when you find truth, that is the goal of science. And Jesus is the truth. So science is the search for Jesus, who is God, and is the search for God. Now, there are some people, the Branhamites, they believe the tree of knowledge of good and evil was Satan. And the tree of life was Jesus Christ. That's what Branhamites believe. But I beg to differ because of one thing. God knows good and evil. That's why we know good and evil. We were created in the image of God. So, because God knows good and evil, we also know good and evil. But because we didn't eat from the tree of life, we can't live forever. But we are going to know how to live forever. Because Jesus Christ said, you will do greater works than the works he did. Are you seeing the telephone, the mobile phone, the laptops, all computer? Those are the greater works man has done. Greater than Jesus Christ. Yes. I believe the scientific inventions are the greater works of God. Because God is science. Look, someone has followed me. The search for scientific truth leads to God, because God is truth. And therefore, God is science. Now, I can babble for this. How to get people to tell the truth according to science. The nature of scientific truth. So at least when we came down, these guys have done very well. These ones. But the first ones, I'm so sad. Big Think went that way. You know, science is, especially this one, needs to be sued. Wired.com. Science is about truth. It is about the truth. Because another thing you need to know about science, it's a body of laws. Laws. Do you know why the Torah, especially when it comes to sexuality, doesn't make sense? Yes, I have a friend of mine, he told me he doesn't read the law, and I told him, good, very good. Do you know why? Because it is not true that a man cannot have sex with a man. They can. You see, a law originally is supposed to mean that thing can't happen. Yes, that's the people who attack homosexuals. They say it is impossible for men to have sex with men. No, it is possible. That's why there was even a punishment. Do you know why Adam and Eve were punished? It's because to eat from that tree was possible. So, laws, the people's understanding of law is very skewed, because why make a law of an impossibility? I'm talking to those people who say being gay is impossible. Why make a law of an impossibility? You only make laws for possibilities. And you can either make a positive law or a negative law. Now, a possibility, naturally speaking, should not have a negative law. Yes, that's what people need to understand. So don't criminalize something that naturally happens. Because if an erection happens with two men, then that means they are gay. So if you kill them because of their natural identity, you are actually killing people because of who they are. Because you're supposed to understand the science behind that erection. Why is it happening? Yeah? Why is it happening? It is science. It is God. God is science. Why is it that there are children who are born trans children because of the hormones? Are you going to kill them because they are born feminine? It is science. It is God. They were born feminine. Some of them were born masculine. They are masculine women. They were born like that, masculine. They don't even have breasts when they grow up. Because of God, science. When you go to the science, genetics is science. You see, they found homosexual men have certain genetic traits. Science. Which is truth. And Jesus said, I'm the way, the truth. You shall know the truth, and it shall make you free. You shall know science, and it shall make you free. Do you know why gay people in countries that have been liberated, they now have gay marriage? Do you know why they have it? They know the truth. Yes. The sex they have is natural. It is natural. Yes. Erection is a natural occurrence. And even spiritual, to show you that God is not against it, because God is a spirit and God is in all of us. He's even in gay people, he's in bisexuals, he's in all of us. It is there in the Bible. So this thing of the truth, these guys, I think they made a mistake to say that you can't know God. You can only know God through science. Now, what is science? It is knowledge. It's to know the body of facts. Now, what is knowledge? Knowledge, to know, is to sense, to experience. Let's finish the video by studying what is to know. Science is truth. God is science. And I've already explained myself, so don't worry. It is to be aware through observation, inquiry, or information. Have a developed relationship with someone through meeting and spending time with them. Or not only someone, something. A very good musician spends a lot of time relating with the music instrument. Have you seen good keyboardists? Do you know why they are good? They spend a lot of time playing that instrument. Do you know good dancers? Why are they good? They have developed a relationship with something called dance. They unite. They are having sex with dance. You know, when you have sex with something or someone, you are knowing that thing. You're becoming one. Do you know why sex involves the sexual organs? Because we do not walk on the street showing our private parts. So the day you have sex with that person, you will know their private parts. So the day you have sex with dance, you will know the private parts of dance. You will know the whole thing about dance, and you will become a perfect dancer. You will become a perfect pianist when you study the whole piano, inside out, all the scales, all the chords. You have studied the private parts of the piano. Because when you're doing that study, you're having sex. Computer science. Do you know why hackers are good? They spend a lot of time with computer. And they know it inside out. They're having sex with the computer. Knowledge is sex. That's why the King James Version is wonderful. when it said Adam knew his wife. Adam knew his wife Eve, and she gave birth to Cain. So what does that mean? Knowledge is sex. And this is beautiful. Have a developed relationship with someone through meeting and spending time with them. You know? So, when you spend time with science, you will know the private parts of science. And no one will confuse you. When you spend time with religion, you will know religion. That's why I do very long videos. It's because I really read that Bible. I was one with it. I spent time with the Bible. Yes, I spent time. I had sex with the Bible. Yes, I united with it. I had union. And now, I want to make myself stronger in other sciences other than religion. So I'm now going to spend time reading other sciences. Like now, the most important science to read is computer science. I want to have time with that. And I need to spend time. I need to have sex with it. You know, I'm going to have sex with computer science and know its private parts. And this is what David said, that God knows even the secret innermost parts of me. That is sex. He knows you inside out. You know, people, if you talk to people who are married, or boyfriend and boyfriend, girlfriend, or girlfriend and boyfriend, and they will tell you, oh, I know that guy so well, or I know that girl so well. They like this, they do this. That's science. They are telling you, I've done the study. You see, we are all specimens of study. We are all sciences. All of us, each and every one of us is a science, is a walking science, because God is science. Therefore, we are the image of science. We are the image of God. That's what you need to know. We are the image of science. So you are a walking science. You're a walking body of facts. You know your body is filled with facts. Genetic facts. Biological facts. Hormonal facts. Neural facts. Skin color facts. Blood group facts. You are walking science. And it's someone who needs to sit down and do a study of your being. And we can even find your ancestor with genetics. Yes. We can find who is which race you belong to. You're joking. Today, the science in the world, it has uncovered the world. It has unraveled the world. That's why I said in Rex Arthur, we did a video called The Transparent, Translucent. So, this is the beauty of science. And, you know, I was talking about transparent systems. And transparent systems, the world is entering the transparent system where we will know everything that can be known. Do you know we still don't know everything? And this is why I was disagreeing with those guys who are saying that science is not the only way to know truth. No, it is the only way. Now, let me tell you something. We were studying the word to know. To know is to do what? To spend, to be aware through observation. Now, how do you observe? Through eyes, ears, nose, taste, that's the mouth, and touch, that's the skin. Because the whole body is covered with skin, and every place where there's skin you can touch. Even your tongue can touch, can do the sense of touch. Yes, even your tongue. Even the private sexual organs, sex is a touch, is a contact spot. Thank you, Whitney Houston, for that song. Yes, sex is a contact sport. It's a touch game. This is why you can even watch games where people like touching each other, and it looks very sexual because they are touching. There's no difference between them and people who are having sex without penetration. So, we know through the sensory gates, eyes, ears, nose, mouth. And another thing I'm going to study, and of course the intuition is an internal sensory gate. That's what people need to understand. Intuition is an internal sensory gate, but it is built by it's a weird understanding. People still don't understand intuition. It's a paranormal science. But it's not that scientists are not getting to understand it. We are getting to understand intuition. I believe feminine persons have high levels of intuition. And if feminine persons have high levels of intuition, then it means that there is a physiological reason behind intuition. Because when people say most women they have a very strong sixth sense, then it means it's a biological reasoning. But remember, there are also human beings who are feminine, men who are feminine, and it seems feminine men also have a high intuition. This is why I believe, it's my preposition, LGBTQ persons are very good sensors. Yes, from experience, I know my LGBTQ person, my friends, they are very good sensors. This is why it was so sad for Trump to just throw away transgenders from the army. You should never. Let me tell you, LGBTQ persons should even have a branch in the army. Yes, they are very important in security because they are spiritual. That's what I'm trying to tell you, that if intuition is a physiological feature, because women have a sixth sense, they have the sixth sense, and it's so interesting that the women's having of a sixth sense rhymes with the color blindness in men. Men who don't have a very strong sixth sense also tend to be color blind. So what does this mean? The neural sensory system of women is very strong. And this could be because of their physiology, that they are not masculine, they are feminine. Now, I've come to tell you that there are men who are feminine, and majority of these men are either LGBTQ or they are eunuchs, castrated men. Because when you're castrated, your femininity is very high as a man. So that means your sixth sense increases. Even your sense of art and color is very strong. You don't have a lot of color blind. So, color blindness. So, what am I trying to say? You see, intuition in the past was described as a spiritual feature, and whenever something is described spiritually, it is that people don't understand the science behind it. But now I'm giving scientists a step ahead to tell them that if it is found in women, and therefore feminine beings, which includes feminine men, then it means that it is physiology. It's the biology that actually helps people to be intuitive, hormonal. They're hormonal. Look at the pineal gland. It is hormones. The pituitary gland, and all of these spiritual things. Now, I have noticed something even about prophets. They tend to have a feminine Spirit. That is, and for information, the Holy Spirit in Hebrew is a feminine spirit, Ruach Mkodesh. Ruach Mkodesh. And even in Hinduism, you study Shakti, and I've forgotten the male spirit. There's a Shakti. That's a female spirit. That is similar to Ruach Mkodesh. And then in Chinese philosophy, it is Yin. That is the feminine element. Though I prefer the Yin Yang of China because it means both men and women have the power to be intuitive. However, in Hebrew thought, it is women who are given some space and feminine men. This is why the Sodomites, the LGBT community in Israel, was called Kadesh. They were the holy ones. They were put aside. And Ruach Kodesh is the Holy Spirit, which was the feminine spirit that feels, that is, and it's weird that though women had this gift, they were not necessarily brought in the forefront. There were very few women prophetesses that showed they had this gift, and the men who are prophets tended to be feminine. If you notice, majority of the Bible prophets did not marry. Yes, it is a very important thing to understand. They did not marry. Elijah had no wife. Jonah had no wife. Elisha had no wife. In fact, Elisha was with a man, and Elijah was with a man called Elisha. They stayed with men, and they were very powerful men, and it's because they had the Holy Spirit, which is a feminine power. Yes, that is what people need to understand about the Old Testament prophets. They had Ruach Kodesh, they had Shekinah, which is also a feminine element that is in mostly women, but also feminine men. Jeremiah had his man, Baruch. Yes, he never married. Only Hosea had a wife. Ezekiel, we don't know. So majority of the prophets in the Bible didn't have wives. For that reason, they had strong intuition, which is a strong feminine element. This is why there are some men, they can take care of themselves. They don't need a woman. Yes, it's because they have that feminine power that is very strong in them. So, anyway, so what am I trying to say? All of this is a study. And look at Daniel. Daniel, a eunuch, castrated man. His feminine element was so strong. Very strong. And that's why he was a prophet. He could predict accurately. He understood sciences. You see, castrated men are very good for studying because they are not they are feminine. The feminine nature is one of study. Women are very curious, and they like wanting to know what is. Even look at the Garden of Eden. Who was the one curious? It was Eve. It is a woman's nature, or to be gender sensitive, feminine nature, because even men can be feminine. So, like most of the times, what's happening in universities today in the world, a lot of women are the ones studying. Reason being, education is very feminine. You see, education to be a student, they like action. So that's why most men are in sports. Do you know, even today, even though they have opened the door for women to be in sports, very few women are sporty because it's still not their nature. And majority of the women who are sporty are lesbians. They are masculine. Yes. That's what people need to understand. A very masculine woman is very active. Yes, very active. She wants to do this. Is like a man. She's just like a man. Because men are very active. They want to go here, they're adventurous, and all of these things. But feminine people like staying, reading books, watching movies, listening to music. They are people who like indulging in the inner sciences. They are not mainly outer people or outgoing. So these are the things you need to understand. It's physiological, it's hormonal. It's beautiful. Look at Hitler. Hitler had a female brain. That's what they said. Do you know what he studied? Art. He was an artist. That was what Hitler studied. Art is a feminine science because it is abstract. You play with your mind. You don't play with hard stuff like building. Hitler was not was not a mason, not a builder. He was a feminine man because they even did a study on his brain. It was good they did that study. Everybody's a specimen of study, including Hitler. So they really wanted to know what was wrong with this man, that he just woke up and decided to kill people. Then they studied him and they know his whole story. And one of the things that we learned, he was an artist. That's a feminine science. And he had his brain was not as big. It was a feminine brain. The size of his brain was that similar to women's brain, to the average woman's brain. So it's very beautiful to understand that. And maybe say the problem he used to go through was the stress of being, who knows, could he have been a trans woman? Could he have been intersex? We don't know. Those are the things. That's why we are now standing for LGBTQ rights, because we need to know the people in our society who are LGBTQ so that we can take care of them and make sure they live the life they should live, not to live in a lot of frustration, because it could be Hitler lived in that frustration and it is what led him to have a lot of hatred. If you watch the speeches of Hitler, he used to, lift his hands. He was very dramatic. And you'd ask yourself, what is happening to this man? So that's psychology. A lot of genetics that was supposed to be studied. Right now you can study everything. Like even Donald Trump, Barack Obama, all of these presidents, we can study them. Kim Jong-un, we can now study them. Mugabe, now that he has left the presidency, all of them, you can study their genetic facts, their biological facts, their hormonal facts. Yes, we are all specimens of study. We are science. We are gods. Each and everyone. There are 7.7 billion gods in the world. 7.7 billion specimen of study. 7.7 science persons. Yes, because each and every one of us is a body of facts, a body of truth, a body of science. So we thank you so much for joining us, and keep on knowing. It is through science we know everything. Yes, even miracles you can study. I've told you in the other video, Pentecostalism is very similar to Hinduism. Yes, it is one. That's what you need to understand. And look at Kundalini. It is a feminine spirit, just like the Hebrew Holy Spirit. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. So let's go on. Let's keep on studying. I want us to stop here on the to know. And see what is also to know is to be conscious. Black consciousness is black knowledge. It's black science. It's black wisdom. It's to know who you are. Be conscious of, be aware of who you are. Sexually. Spiritually. As I told you, if you know you're a God, I'm telling you, you will be calm. No situation will beat you. So, knowledge is power. Now, I leave you with the second definition of knowledge. It is to have a developed relationship with someone through meeting and spending time with them. Let's spend time with science. Just give yourself 3 weeks reading science and tell me what will happen. You will have a relationship with science. You will be having sex with science. And you will know the private parts of science inside out. That's what you need to do. The problem of homophobia and transphobia, they refuse to have sex with science. They refuse to sit down and read it. Yes. They refuse. And it's the truth. You know, others come and tell you that you need to come for deliverance. What deliverance? Deliverance means genetic transformation, which is impossible. I'm already genetically developed. My body has the genetic infrastructure. I got it at birth, at conception. It was sealed, done. I can only do slight changes to my genetic makeup, but they cannot change me. They can't. Because your brain cells is your genetic material. It's there. Your heart, genetic material. Your veins, genetic material. Your bones, genetic material. Can you count how many genes are in your body? Do you know how many cells are in the body? Let's finish with that. 37.2 trillion cells. And of course, your body will have more or fewer cells than that total, depending upon how your size compares to the average human being. But it's a good starting point for estimating the number of cells in your own body. Can you imagine 37.2 trillion? So you want to have to deliverance session. You are fighting 37.2 trillion cells. You see, it's not right to do so-called deliverance, because deliverance is not the method to cure a genetic anomaly. Yes, that's what I'm telling people. I tell pastors, you are treating a genetic anomaly. If you claim to have deliverance power to cure gays, please go and cure all the blind people in the world first. Then we'll know you have power. But if you can't, don't dabble in. Because you see, it's like going to dig in the garden with a fork, a kitchen fork. You're going to dig and you're going to plant maize. That is what these deliverance pastors do. They take deliverance, then they think they are curing it's spirits. It's not spirits, it's genetic, hormonal. And you've seen how many hormone cells in 37.2 trillion cells. Trillion. So don't go with a fork to go and dig a garden of 10 hectares and say you're going to finish on that day. You're mad. So that's what happens to people who go, they do deliverance to deliver people from gay spirits. It's not a spirit. And even if it is spiritual, it is genetic. The gene is the spirit. It's acidic.
Yes. Acidic, because we are made of acids. And these acids are so strong, you cannot undo them. That's why to me there's no ex-gay. If you become a gay and then you now start liking the opposite sex, you are bisexual. You are not an ex-gay. Yes, because you can have sex. You've had sex with a man. That sex you had, you erected. That is a natural. Do you know how many cells come on when you have an erection? Even if it's a woman, because women also, the clitoris erects. Your cells come on fire. You see, that is genetic. That tells you you are homosexual. Oh, I'm so happy. I've never been loud when I talk about science, but that's how I deal with it. So let's go on and keep on. As we said, to know, spend time with something. You want to be a good pianist? Spend time with the piano. You want to be a good singer? Spend time singing. You want to be a good writer? Spend time writing. You want to be a good pastor, preacher? Spend time preaching. You want to be a good teacher? Spend time teaching. You want to be a good philosopher? Spend time reading philosophy. Give yourself 3 months. You will be the philosopher of all days. You want to be a good blogger? Spend time blogging. You want to be a good vlogger? Spend time vlogging. You want to be a bad blogger? Don't blog. Then come and blog after not spending time to blog. You know, it's like if you say this person is my friend, but you're not spending time with them, then you come and tell them, this guy, he's hot-tempered. Oh, he'll tell you, excuse me, that's not who I am. You've not spent time with them. That's a bad friend. But a good friend will tell you, oh, this one, they are just soft-spoken. How did you know me? Yes, but we spend time together. I can see it. You see, that is what happens when you are united to something or someone or somewhere. All right, guys. It has been a very great day of videos. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's keep it science and queering science, theology, philosophy, and spirituality. Remember, science is God. God is science, because science is truth. Science is knowledge. Science is wisdom. Christ is wisdom. Christ is power. And God is Christ. And therefore, God is science.